everyone, it is time for a new video, and this is a super exciting one, and it's a new video in a video series that I came up with that I can't wait to share with you, and that is the Bookish Spotlight. And today, the person who's gonna be in the spotlight is Nick from Nick of the Books, one of my wonderful friends. The point of this series and this video is it's gonna be a reading vlog of reading books that that person recommends. Then there's gonna be a point in the video where I'm gonna talk about books that I've found and read thanks to that person. Another thing that I want to do that I'm not entirely gonna do this video, but a little bit, is to do some kind of an activity or something that I associate with the person. And so let's talk about Nick for a second and what she does and why I love her so much and why you should follow her. And then we're gonna get into the reading vlog. Nick is a blogger, and today when you're watching this, it is her 10th blog anniversary. So Nick, if you're watching this, happy anniversary. I asked Nick for recommendations for this video an embarrassingly long time ago, and I'm so sorry it's taken me so long. This year has been really rough, and my mental health has been trash, and so that makes it difficult. But the second that I saw Nick mention that her anniversary was coming up, I was like, I need to post this video on that day to celebrate Nick. And so Nick is a blogger, and she also tweets a lot on Twitter, obviously, about books, and she has a lovely Instagram where she basically matches cakes to book covers, and I love it so much. And her blog is also super cozy and so beautiful. If you love romance, you absolutely need to follow Nick, and I love her so much, and she has such wonderful recommendations. And she actually matched my book, which you can see now here, to a cake as well, which was such a special and beautiful moment, and I love it so much. I'm going to pop it up on the screen so you can get a taste of Nick's content. And so obviously all the links are going to be linked down below. You should absolutely follow Nick. I love her so much, and she does so much for romance authors and readers and just the whole community. And yeah, so please go follow Nick. And one more thing that I want to mention is that Nick is one of the people who created the Swoon Awards. It is basically all about romance, and it's just awards hosted by some wonderful people, including Nick, in the romance community. And you can basically put in whatever books you want into the different categories. So that's of course also going to be linked down below, and you can vote until I think the beginning of January. You can read all about it on the website, but it is just absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to see who wins and find new romances thanks to the awards. Long story short, Nick is absolutely wonderful. You need to go follow her blog and everything else. And so thank you so much to Nick for giving me recommendations. I hope you have a wonderful anniversary, and let's get into the reading vlog now. So I have officially started the first book for this video, and I am at 42%, and the book is I didn't even say the book. It's Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend by Lucy Eden. I just have been struggling for the past week-ish to stick to books, and I've been reading too many things for too many videos at the same time. So partially I was I shouldn't start this just yet, but I just had a feeling that I just needed something short and fun that I could read quickly and just feel like I'm finishing something, if that makes sense. So the plot of this book is that the two main characters run into each other in a bookstore, and the heroine basically came to LA for this big interview, and they run into each other, and both of them read romance books, and they have a short conversation about that, and then they go for lunch, and things go on from there. And it's definitely kind of a love at first sight type of book. So if you don't like that, and if you don't like insta love and that kind of thing, this might not be for you, but the chemistry is definitely there. It is super cute. I love both of them, and it's just so fun and so just easy to read and so quick to read and just exactly what I needed. I still can't get over this cover. I shall go read and I'll talk to you when I finish the book. I just finished Blind Date with a Book Boyfriend by Lucy Eden, and it was so quick to read and so fun and so cute. And I feel like that's all that I need to say about it. I literally flew through it. I basically read it in one sitting. It's like 100 pages, and I just had a lot of fun with it. And I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I do wish it was a little bit longer, because just I was so invested in the relationship, so it definitely wasn't like too short or like too underdeveloped that I wouldn't care about it. I loved the two of them so much. But it was the kind of thing where like I liked them a lot and I wanted a little bit more content. But you know, obviously it's a novella. Like, I think I'm gonna jump straight into another book for this video, which, like, you know, it's a good video when I want to prioritize it over other things that I'm doing. And I'm also in such a strong romance mood, which, like, when am I not, you know? But like, I have other genres and other things that I need to read for the other stuff, and I just want to read the romances for this video. So I think I'm just gonna fucking do it, you know? So my hair is super wet and this lighting is kind of trash, so I'm gonna make this really quick. But I started Rebel Hard, that's the name, right? By Nalini Singh, and I'm already in love. Like, holy fucking shit. I'm listening to it on audio and I read like 10%. And the two main characters already met and they already made out, and like the chemistry is off the charts and I'm so invested already. Like, I love the vibes. I also love the narrator of the audiobook, and just like the cover, don't like it, but what is inside, oh my god. I want to keep reading, and like I will definitely be reading this tomorrow. Probably will be like flying through the entire thing, and I'm so happy. So yeah, I'm super excited to keep on reading this. I love it. I didn't really say anything about the plot, so I'm gonna give you the details when I read a little bit more, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm now halfway through Rebel Hard, and I am losing my shit. Also, please excuse my hair. I feel like it looks super weird, but you know, what can I do? Okay. Let's rewind a little bit, because I'm pretty sure I didn't fully even give you the synopsis. So this book is about Nina and Raj, and at the beginning of the book, Nina wants to agree to this arranged marriage because she feels like it's just gonna be good for her family. And then she runs into this guy, and they're super attracted to each other, and they make out and things like that, and then they can't stop thinking about each other, and then they find out that like the two of them are supposed to get married, which they didn't know when they like ran into each other. And so, you know, angst ensues. And like, holy fuck, like, oh my god, they don't get married right away, because Nina realizes that an arranged marriage is something that like she really doesn't want, and she wants to just like figure some of her things out, and she wants to focus a little bit more on herself and figure out what she wants as opposed to what she always thought her family wanted. And so she kind of tries to figure all of that out, and at the same time, the two main characters, they are super attracted to each other. They have a really strong connection. Like, their chemistry is off the charts, and they somehow manage to be so fucking like hot and cute at the same time, and their connection is just so strong, like immediately since the start. And like, I was literally so invested. I mean, I gave you the update when I was at the beginning of the book, and I was super excited already, and it has not changed at all the entire time. It is just perfection. I love it so much. I love how the romance is developing. I think it's absolute perfection. Like, I can't even express how much I'm like fangirling, and like I've laughed, and I just like, oh my gosh, it's seriously incredible. If anything is better than this, Like, holy shit. I read books even when they don't have a nice cover, especially if I see someone I trust, like, give it 5 stars or really like it. But I don't know if I would have read it anytime soon, or if I would have even found it. Because I literally had no idea that Nalini Singh had contemporary romances. I only ever heard about the paranormal ones. And so I'm so happy already. Like, this is a success. Like, I don't have to read anything else. I will get back to you soon with some reading updates. So I finished Rebel Hard, and oh my god, I literally adored it. It was incredible. I loved everything about it. The romance, the way everything developed, and Naina's like personal emotional journey, and the way that she like figured out what she wanted, and just the relationship in this book was so fucking healthy and beautiful, and like so cute and steamy and emotional, and like every beautiful thing imaginable. And seriously, like, it might have been like the healthiest, at least like definitely one of the healthiest relationships I've ever read about. Like, they always communicated, and it was just so good and caring and beautiful. There was also like an amazing sister relationships, and in general there were a lot of strong family relationships, and it was definitely like a big part of the book. And seriously, you need to read this book. Like, again, I hate this cover, but it's like so good. And I again haven't heard anyone talk about Nalini's contemporary books. I had no clue they existed, and so I need more people to get on it. And I know that I looked on Goodreads, and there are 2 books in this series, and I will be reading them super soon for sure. And then there's another series that is contemporary. So happy that I read this. It's been a while since my last update. I am honestly kind of embarrassed, and it's ridiculous. Let's just say this year I have not been managing life very well. And there are so many videos that I started so long ago that I've been trying to finish, and I thought I was getting better at organizing everything and like getting videos done quicker, but you know, I just like have been going through it. And so the only thing that I can manage is to just read the most random things that I'm just in the mood for. But this is like absolutely one of the most exciting videos that I'm working on. I'm so excited for it, and I'm so excited for the books. I just know I'm gonna love them, or at least enjoy all of them. Yeah, I just have not been capable of doing almost anything, so, you know, it's fine. We need to talk about the book I started. That is the most important, but I am absolutely going to be prioritizing this video for the next, let's say, 2 weeks so that I can read all these wonderful books, and I am ready. Like, I think I'm actually ready now. I'm really sorry to Nick for taking so long. I promise it's not because of the book choices. I am, once again, super excited for those, but yeah, you know, sometimes life is just like that. And I'm trying not to like be too frustrated about it. So the book that I started now is Pretty Phase by Lucy Parker, and I am absolutely in love. I'm listening to the audiobook, and I got to like 30%, and I'm speaking a little bit quieter because I just realized my dad has like a work thing and like online, and you know, he probably can't hear me, but still. This book is set in London, and it's about Lucy and Luke. The fact that I remember the main characters' names says a lot. Lucy is an actress, and Luke wants to put together this new like play for a West End theater. And so, you know, Lucy obviously auditions for a role in that, and at first it's like they don't have the best encounter at first, and she's definitely not getting the job, like, you know, but he definitely, like, he kind of roasts her basically, but he sees a lot of potential in her anyways, and so she obviously gets the role, and so they work on that together, and I'm in love. Like, oh my god. First of all, Nick is a genius, because before I even knew it, she recommended me a book about celebrities, which I recently realized is something I absolutely love. And especially actors, like actors more than like singers, but honestly, anything works. And so I love that. It's also an age gap romance, which like I don't necessarily I'm not like necessarily an active fan of an age gap trope, but I'm definitely not like against it. You know, like if it's done well, I can totally love it. And then it's also hate to love and like a forbidden romance, cause not just because of the age gap, but obviously like Luke is Lucy's boss, and neither of them wants to jeopardize their careers, and like obviously it would be like a scandal and whatever. And I just cannot. I'm so invested. I love them so much, and the chemistry is everything. I'm in love. Okay, I'm in love. And I also love that it's set in London, and it's like there was a mention of like the most basic like chain restaurants that you have in the UK, and it just made me feel like nostalgic. I don't want to stop reading. I did stop reading for now because again, like I need to write and do some other stuff, but I'm in love. I'm definitely going to be like reading it today and tomorrow. Like, oh my god. And one last thing I'm going to mention now is I didn't actually read the first book in this series. It's obviously standalones. There's another book that's actually a second book in a series that I did read the first book before, but like that, yeah, I'm gonna explain that when we get to that. But I was just thinking earlier, I was like, you know, I need a super exciting, fun romance right now, and I just thought of this book. I felt super drawn to it in that moment, and I was like, it's happening. So I do think, considering how much I'm loving this, I'm definitely going to go back and read the first book, but this is what we're starting with. It is time for an update. I hope my makeup looks okay. It's going to be midnight soon, and I finished Pretty Face by Lucy Parker, and I was gonna do an update as I was reading it, but I kind of flopped at that, so I'm really sorry. But I had to take a break a little bit from it for a few days because I was just so busy and I never had time for it. And then once I could finally get back to it today, I just couldn't stop reading it. I didn't want to stop, and I was just so immersed in the audiobook that I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna keep reading. And oh my god, I fucking adored it. I literally don't even know how to talk about it. I could have waited for a day or two to gather up my thoughts, but I don't think it would help all that much, because when I really, really love something, I can't like express myself about it whatsoever. I just absolutely fell in love with Luke and Lily. And Nick, I actually like mentioned that I was reading this book on Twitter, and Nick said something that Luke and Lily are in her like character hall of fame, and like that, it's just, I love that thought and concept so much, and they most certainly are in a hall of fame for me as well. I have only two complaints that like didn't ruin my experience whatsoever, but one of them is that I kind of wish it was a little bit steamier. And the second thing is, oh my god, the conflict was so fucking painful. I was not prepared for that. I also should have like checked the trigger warnings. That is my fault. I just hate conflict in any shape or form. So it's definitely not that the conflict in this book is particularly bad. And what I do want to say about it is I feel like the way that Luke and Lily dealt with it was extremely like soft or just so good. And like, I hope I'm in focus. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm in love. I don't know what to do with myself now. And this was incredible. So that if it wasn't clear, it is a 5-star, and I just, holy shit. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop thinking about this book, and I need to get myself a copy, and I'm absolutely obviously gonna be reading the other books in this series, and I'm even more excited because I actually have a book by Lucy Parker that I'm so excited to read, and I want to cry about how much I love this book and the two of them. Like, I'm a mess, so yeah, I should shut up now and get ready for bed, but I am gonna talk to you soon. Now, we're gonna talk about some of the books that I have found thanks to Nick, and let's talk about it because I'm super excited to share them with you. So I have 3 physical books here, that 2 I have read and 1 I desperately want to read. So we're gonna start with the ones that I've read. So one of them is actually one that she recommended directly for this video, and I didn't talk about it in here because she kindly recommended so many books that I was like, I can't include all of them in one video, and so I was so excited for this, and I actually included it in another vlog. I have no idea what it was anymore. This is A Rogue to Remember by Emily Sullivan, and I adored it. It was quite a while ago now, which honestly shows how long I've been working on this video, which is honestly a little bit like, I'm ashamed, but you know, it happens. So this is a historical romance, and I love this cover. I loved this book, obviously. I have loved all of these books, and if you're like, maybe you read a book that Nick recommended that you didn't like and not sharing it in here, that has literally not happened. Like, obviously, you know, it would be strange if we had the exact same taste, and it's bound to happen, like, at some point that we're not gonna like the same book, but it hasn't. So, yeah, so this is a, like, childhood best friends to kind of like a little bit of like two enemies to lovers. They got separated, and the hero in this basically broke the heroine's heart, and now she escaped to this like little town in Italy, I'm pretty sure. She wanted just, you know, solitude and freedom. She just wanted to be alone, didn't want to marry anyone, all that. And then the hero comes to this house, and, you know, they bicker around and all of that. And the hero is also a spy. He was tasked with escorting the heroine back home, like to her original home, you know, like with her uncle and whatever. And so it's kind of partially a journey romance, and it is so good. Like, I was immediately invested in their romance. The chemistry was incredible, the banter was incredible. It was so fun and so quick to read. I feel like for a historical romance, it's quite short. Just such a quick read. I think the only thing that I didn't fully love in it was the conflict, because it was super painful. And besides that, though, absolutely adored the main characters, absolutely adored the romance, all of that. Incredible. The next book is a little bit different because I didn't like directly have it recommended from Nick, but I basically like got more excited for it thanks to Nick. So that is Hang the Moon by Alexandria Bellefleur, and I read Written in the Stars. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I was hearing like really mixed things about it, and then I ended up really enjoying it, and I think it was like a 4.5 star for me. So it wasn't like a new all-time favorite, but it was an amazing romance. And then I heard Nick, and I think it was also Sil from the Book Voyagers, another one of my amazing friends who has amazing recommendations. I was hearing them talk about it and like rave about it and saying how like romantic and wonderful it was. And so that got me even more excited for this book. And that was the reason why I got this book physically, because I listened to Written in the Stars on audio, and I'm super selective about what books I order. So happy I did, because this is definitely one of my like all-time favorite romances now, and Alexandria Bellefleur is on her way to becoming one of my favorite authors. So Brendan is basically Annie's best friend's brother, and he used to have a crush on her when, you know, like Annie hung out with his sister, and Annie didn't really look at him that way. He was just, you know, her best friend's brother. And now Annie comes to the best friend's apartment, and turns out her best friend is on a trip. Brendan has to like, he's in town obviously, and he like comes to help Annie. I don't know if it was like to like give her the keys to the apartment, probably something along those lines. And so because of that, they have to like see each other, and they spend some time together, and Annie is freaking out because Brendan is so hot now. And this book is just so romantic and sweet and steamy and wonderful and swoon worthy. And Brendan is such a soft cinnamon roll hero, and he's a romantic, and Annie has kind of given up on love, and he wants to like make her believe in love again, which that little thing makes me so happy, because that is something that I have in my book that is like super meaningful, and I love it. I don't know about other writers, but to me, any little aspects that I have in my book, or like all of my books, that I see in other books just make me super happy. And like, I know that every single idea, every single trope, every little thing is just entirely different based on who's writing it, and like, we can have the same thing a billion times and it's always going to be special and wonderful, and I'm just always excited to see it, because I obviously write things that excite me. So I absolutely love this book, and if you haven't read it yet, you need to pick it up. And the last one that I have physically that I desperately want to read is Drag Me Up by Armed Virtues. I haven't read this, and I have no idea why, because this is one of my most like anticipated books. I've had it for like 2 months now or so, and it is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and this whole series is like Greek mythology retellings, but like the main characters are people of color, and there's demisexual representation and trans representation and just queer representation, and just like, it's gonna be incredible, and I just know it. But I don't know if it's the kind of thing that I think I'm gonna love it so much that I'm like intimidated by it, and I don't want it to be over already, you know, like that kind of thing, and I just need to read it. So yes. There are 2 more books that I want to talk about that I have read that I don't have physically, that I adore. And so the first one, it's kind of 2, but mostly 1. That is, thanks to Nick, I found Sing Anyway by Anita Kelly. And I enjoyed this book a lot. It is an adult romance novella. It is super fun and quick to read, but the one that like blew me away is the sequel to it, and that is Our Favorite Songs. And oh my god, this technically, like, this book wasn't recommended by Nick directly, but the first book was, and like, you know, I found this thanks to the first book, and it's just such an incredible book that is absolutely one of my favorite romances. And like, while I adore novellas, it's really hard for a novella to like blow me away so much that it becomes a favorite. And this is a romance about like, it's slightly a little bit like Dislike to Love. The 2 main characters, they have a common best friend. I think it's that the best friend invites both of them for coffee or something, but she doesn't actually show up, and so the 2 of them are kind of like forced to hang out. And then it has like the snowed in trope, and Isaac, my cat, is currently climbing my chair, and it looks hilarious. Anyways, it has like the snowed in trope, and like, I don't even know how to describe how incredible this book is, because like the emotional aspects to it, the romance and the development of it, the main characters' individual journeys, all the things that they have to learn, it was just so like, the emotions were so raw and beautiful and incredible. There was like also a little poetry aspect to it, which, in case you didn't know, I write poetry, I read poetry, I love poetry. And so this book is just absolutely incredible. It might be like my top, definitely among my top 3 favorite novellas of all time, and it's just perfection, and you need to read it. And moving on to the last book, this update has been way longer than I thought it would be. The last book that I want to mention is The Scoundrel of My Heart by Lorraine Heath. So this is another historical romance about Catherine and Griffith, and Catherine basically needs to marry a titled man to get inheritance or something. There's this duke who like puts out like an announcement or something that like he wants a wife, and so the hero actually ends up helping the heroine like try to get together with the duke and like get his attention and all that, and of course the 2 of them fall in love. And this book, another like book that became a favorite, and the second I read this was my first book by Lorraine Heath, and she has a lot of books, but this was my first one, and the second I read it, I was like, she's one of my new favorite authors. I don't have to read another book, I just know. And since then I've bought like 4 of her books physically, and that says a lot, because again, I'm super selective, and it doesn't happen often that, oh my gosh, Isaac is currently eating my fairy lights. So this book was just perfection. I absolutely recommend it. I'm gonna shut up now and we can get back to the reading vlog. Hi everyone, so it is time for an update. I feel like my makeup looks weird. So hopefully it's not too bad. Also, I have fairy lights now. Finally, I actually had some like above the bookshelf in that exact spot, but they stopped working, and so for a few months I didn't have any. And I mean, they were actually maybe up, just not on, which doesn't look good at all, I feel like. So yes, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the next book that I started, and that is Can't Help Falling by Cara Bastone. And to no one's surprise at this point, I am enjoying this book so much, and I knew that going into it, because this is the book where I read the first book in this series, and I also read 2 other books by the author, which I entirely forgot the names of. One of them is Call Me Maybe, and the other one, I have no idea. But these are audiobooks that were like available first as Audible originals, and I could, listen to that because of that, and they were absolutely incredible. It's like a novella length, and they feature like technology, like the main characters calling or texting and whatever, and it just like I was absolutely fascinated and so impressed and in love with the way these books were written, that like they were so short, and like the plot and everything that happened, I feel like it made it really challenging to make it an impactful, strong story and a strong romance, but I was beyond invested and I loved the main characters so much, and it was just the best experience ever. And I know that Nick has read those. I actually might have found them thanks to Nick as well. I don't fully remember, but there's a high chance because I vividly remember her reviews on Goodreads. I really hope it's not like, sometimes I feel like I know way too much about what some people read and it almost feels a little bit weird. I'm like, should I not? But it's just like I am so active like on Goodreads and YouTube and Twitter, and I like if I'm like a fan of someone, or just if I really love someone and I want to follow their reviews, I see almost everything. Like I watch every video, and I so I hope that's not like creepy or anything. But anyways, so yeah, so I loved these books, and that made me obviously even more excited to read this, and so I decided to read the first book in this series, and I'm pretty sure I actually talked about it in another vlog. I really enjoyed the first one. The only thing that I didn't fully love in it is that like the first half was definitely a little bit slow, and so that like made it not entirely a 5-star for me, but the romance was wonderful, and it's just like so cool to see the difference between these like full-length novels and the audiobook novellas that I mentioned, but at the same time they have some of the same qualities, which is that the main characters are incredible and they have such a strong connection. And so I've been talking for 4 minutes and I haven't even described the plot of this book. So Can't Help Falling is a book about Finn and Tyler. Basically has to take care of his sister, and she was in the foster system, and he just now has to take care of her, and she's a teenager, and she's like an angsty teenager and obviously dealing with a lot, and so Tyler doesn't really know how to like act around her and what to do for her so that she could feel safe with him and just like happy and all of that, and so he struggles a lot with that. And then Finn enters the picture, and the two of them have a not so good first interaction, and I wouldn't call it hate to love, but it's like slight dislike to love, I would say. And then they slowly like start spending more time together because Finn wants to just like kind of try to hang out with Tyler's sister, just to make her feel more at home, because she was in the foster system herself, and so she knows what it's like, she knows what to do, and so she helps with all of that. And what like, oh my gosh, The two of them are absolutely amazing, and it's the kind of thing where Tyler doesn't want to get attached. He doesn't want anything long-term, any relationships, just absolutely not. And then Finn doesn't want to have a relationship much because she feels like it would jeopardize her dreams. And the main thing that she wants is to be a foster parent for obvious reasons. And so I absolutely love it. Like, it's so satisfying when you read a romance where both of the main characters absolutely do not want to fall in love. You know, they're fighting it so hard, and it's just so fun and satisfying to see them like slowly succumb to the love, and it's just so good. And I definitely feel like this one is not as slow in the beginning. I have now gotten to like almost the halfway point, and the beginning, like the very beginning, maybe wasn't super fast exactly, but I do feel like it's just that like the story isn't exactly a quick story. So I don't feel like this one is slow and boring in any part of it. I feel like it's just the perfect book that I needed. I wasn't having the best day, and so I'm so happy that I picked up the audiobook of this one. If you like really emotional, probably gonna talk to you when I finish the book. And I'm just so happy that I could finally get back to this video. Like, this is literally one of my favorite videos that I've been working on, and I'm just like, I just love romance so much. And I love Nick's recommendation so much, and Nick herself, and like, I'm just, yes. So I'm gonna shut up now, and I'll talk to you soon. I have now officially finished reading Can't Help Falling. And like, I honestly don't even know how to talk about this book because I absolutely adored it. It was such a wonderful combination of all the different things that I love most in romances. Like, we have a super emotional, slow burn, wonderful, incredible romance that is like equally sweet and intense and passionate and steamy and like all the most wonderful things. And then at the same time we have a really strong like you know, sibling slash like slightly like a parent figure type relationship with like Kylie and Tyler, and like all of that together was just incredible. And this book is definitely a slow burn, and I feel like I need to be in the like right mood for slow burn sometimes, because sometimes I'm like too impatient for it. But the way it developed in here was just perfection. I think I was in the perfect mood for it, and it was just like so raw and emotional as well. And I think that is something that Cara does an incredible job at. And that's the thing that I was trying so desperately to find a way to describe. Because, like, the emotions in her books are just so raw and real, and it just makes you connect to the story and the characters even more. And it was just so beautiful. I don't know, I can't like find a better word for it. And I am now heartbroken because I only have one book and a half to read by Cara. She has one novella that is like at the beginning of the series, and then there's the third book in this series, and that's it. So I really hope she has some books coming out super soon, because like I can't get enough. Like, I literally want to jump straight into the next book in the series, but I'm not going to do that because then I wouldn't have any more to read. And like, it's a wonderful feeling when, you know, you love an author and you read all of their books. You feel like, you know, like you've read all of it, and it's cool. It's great. But at the same time, it's horrible because there's no more. And I hate that. I have that with multiple authors. Yeah, this is absolutely a 5-star. While the first book in the series wasn't, this one definitely is. And like, don't get me wrong, I still loved the first book, and I still highly recommend it. And like, considering that that was Cara's debut, it is extremely impressive, and it's so cool to see her grow as a writer in like just one book, you know, because this one is just perfection, and I'm so happy. I have now started the last book for this video, and I have made quite a bit of progress in it already, so I didn't like just start it, but that is The Sweetest Fix by Tessa Bailey. And I did want to read more books for this vlog, because you know, I wanted it to be as epic as possible. And again, Nick gave me so many super exciting recommendations, but I just have been so busy and working on so many things that I unfortunately wouldn't have been able to read them all in time. You know, we still are reading 5 amazing books, and you know, and I do desperately want to read the other books as well. But let's talk about The Sweetest Fix. So this book is on Kindle Unlimited if you have that, and I actually really like Tessa Bailey. The heroine in this book is a dancer, and she misses this really big audition, and so then she makes this plan that like the guy that she auditioned for has a son, and so she was thinking, you know, she would like ask the son for help or something like that. And then she meets the son, who is this bakery owner, and they immediately have a spark. She is like, I don't want to use him for that purpose, and they have a connection, and they kiss, and things go on from there. So, absolutely love the chemistry between them, and like so excited to see the romance develop, and like so here for it. But one thing that like is making me panic and like it's making me anxious is the fact that the heroine has a secret because she wanted to use him for a purpose, and now she doesn't want to because she already kind of, you know, likes him and she doesn't want to hurt him, but she doesn't want to tell him. And so is the kind of thing that like she has a secret that is really bad and she keeps on not telling him. And there have been literally multiple moments on page when she mentions like, I should tell him, and then she doesn't tell him. And there have also been moments when the hero is like, he has had some just like terrible experiences with people trying to use him. And so it's that kind of like horrible thing that you just know is gonna explode. It's gonna be super painful and horrible. And I hate that. Like, I just hate that feeling of like waiting for that like horrible shitstorm, you know? But besides that, it is so good. And I also just like, I think I slightly mentioned it, that like Nick loves food and all that in books, and so she has a lot of recommendations for that as well. And I feel like it's something that I haven't read as much of as I would like just any kind of food in books, and especially like baking and like a bakery setting or like a coffee shop setting. Absolutely love it, and I feel like it's perfect for winter. And there was a moment like they met at the bakery, and the heroine tasted like this chocolate, and it made me crave chocolate so hard. And so it's definitely the kind of book that you like get a snack, get some chocolate, or some nice baked things to go along with reading the book. But it is definitely super fun, and I just like, I know it's gonna be just super steamy and swoon worthy. I do think I'm not gonna update you until I finish it, but I'm super excited for it. And I honestly don't want this video to end. Like, I mean, like, I'm super excited to post it, and, you know, but, like, I don't like the thought of it, like, not being a thing anymore. So, yes, but obviously, you know, like, Nick's recommendations are gonna persevere. And I still have some other books that I want to read by her that she recommended to me, like for this video and just then in general. So I am gonna mention a few of the other books that she like included on the list that she wrote for me for this video. I was gonna do that in the segment that I talked about the books that I've found thanks to her, but I forgot. So I am gonna talk about that after I finish The Sweetest Fix. So let's go read this book, and I'll update you soon. I have officially finished The Sweetest Fix by Tessa Bailey, and I'm going to talk to you about this book. Then we're going to talk about the other books that Nick recommended for this video, and then we're going to wrap up this video. And so I absolutely loved this book. Oh my gosh, the romance was just so swoon worthy. and it was just like, it was really steamy and just like so quick to read and completely addicting, and it was just so good. So I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. And the only reason why it's not 5 is like kind of, you know, is the thing that I mentioned about like the keeping of the secret and everything. The conflict was like not as bad in a way that I expected, and it was quite short. But it just, you know, but besides that, I absolutely loved this book. And like, if you just want like a quick, super fun, steamy read, I would highly recommend this. And like, if you like the like bakery vibes, and also, the only thing that I want to mention is that like it is kind of slightly insta-lovey, so everything does happen super quickly. So if you don't tend to like that, then I don't think this is for you. But I definitely don't mind it if it's done well, and I do think that it was done well in this, and I was just like so invested. The chemistry was amazing. They had a really strong connection, and I also really loved Risa's journey as like a dancer, and she was just basically, I don't even know if I fully said, you know, like she was like going on tons of auditions, and she just really, like, she had a lot betting on getting a role super soon because she just needed a job really quickly. And so it was so amazing to see her fight for her dream and like all of that. I absolutely loved it. So it's just so good. I definitely recommend. And yeah, so I can't believe we're near the end of this video. So let's talk about some of the other books that Nick sent me in the list of books that she recommended for this video. So I have one physical book, and that is The Hidden Moon by Jeannie Lynn. So this is, I don't think I'm going to describe the plots of the books because I don't really know, and you know, this video has been super long, but this is a historical romance with like a mystery subplot, and it's set in China during the Tang Dynasty. And like, I love this cover, and I really wanted to read it during like spooky season, and I just didn't have time in the end. Then the next book was The Luck of the Draw by Kate Clayborn, and this is one of the books that I really wanted to include in this vlog but just didn't have time. And this is a normal like adult contemporary, and there is something with like the main character winning a lottery, and what Nick wrote in her review was just, it sounded so good, and I just really think I'm gonna love this. And Kate Clayborn has quite a lot of books that I've seen multiple people talk about, and so I definitely want to dive into this. So I do think this one is one that I am going to read definitely soon. Then we have The Widow of Rose House by Deanna Biller. So this is another one that I really wanted for spooky season because once again, it's a historical romance that has some kind of like, I think, mystery element in it, and so I was just like, you know, it would be perfect to read it in October, and didn't manage once again, but I do think this one I'm gonna save for next October. Then we have Sweatpants Season by Danielle Allen. So this one is, I'm pretty sure, on Kindle Unlimited, and I have read one book by Danielle Allen before, and that was Truth or Dare, and I loved it. So I just think that this one is also going to be super fun. And then the last one was Hidden Legacy by Ilona Andrews, and so that is actually the only one that I have read from the list. And I mean, like, I read the first book. It was fun. I didn't fully love it. It was a little bit too like action-packed for me and not enough focused on the romance, but I'm sure like I do want to get back to the series and read the whole thing because I do think that like the romance is obviously going to develop along the way. So these are all the books that Nick recommended, and that is going to be it for this video. I can't believe we are now in the end. So once again, happy anniversary to Nick. I'm so sorry that this video took me so long to get finished, but I hope that you all enjoyed this video, and thank you again to Nick for all these wonderful recommendations and for everything that you do for romance readers, writers, and everyone. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you want to read any of these books, and if you made it this far in the video, leave any kind of like baking type emoji, like a cake or a cookie or anything like that. And thank you for watching again. Again, check out Nick and follow her everywhere. Everything's gonna be linked down below. And yes, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you soon, tomorrow actually, with another video. Bye!